Hello and welcome to Make the Logo Bigger. My name is Brenton. This podcast is your gateway into the world of advertising production, crafted especially for those who are stepping in new, aiming to become producers, or simply eager to understand the inner workings of advertising and marketing. We're here to share insights and knowledge you've been looking for, with stories, tips, and real conversations from the pros. We're simplifying the process for everyone with a production curiosity. Whether you're just starting out or keen to explore the production side of ads, you've found the right place. Let's jump in. Hello again. Welcome back. Thanks for listening. Today, we're going to talk about the brief. Probably just as important as the budget and the script ultimately. But the brief, what is it? It's not just a formality. It's not just a document. It is the blueprint. And it sets the tone for the rest of the project. So let's break down what a great brief is, what's included, what to put in there that gets you underway when you launch your project. So why does briefing matter? Well, you could think about it in the sense that the whole project and everything with it flows downhill from the briefing. It's your starting point. It's your entry point to the parties that you bring on board, the stakeholders that need to be included, and what happens if the brief is unclear or things are not included. You run into having to rebrief, you waste time, you can incur extra costs, and you can have budget blowouts. So you get to the briefing stage. You have some sort of idea, a concept, you have a script. You need to start briefing in the right people to get this production underway. What you need to do is you need to have one document, simple document, and in there you need to detail all the following prerequisites. First of all, let's put the name, the actual job name in there. It just makes it easier. Makes it easier for everyone when they're talking about the jobs. They know it has a unique title. You go back and forth. Easy way to identify. Next part is always has to have a job number. Somewhere, someone at some entity has created a job number for it. So put the job number in there. Again, this document probably gets handed around to a lot of different people. It just makes it easy to recall. Should anybody have any questions, follow-ups, you know what the job number is. Again, a lot of you out there are probably dealing with multiple jobs. You want something that's an easy identifier, and a job number is so simple. When you are putting the brief together, you're not just outputting one deliverable. Most of the time, there are multiple deliverables. So just as important as what the job number is, there are key numbers. Now, key numbers are the identifiers for each deliverable. So you need to either be given the key numbers, which if you go through a media planning stage, there's usually key numbers that are created that back up the funnel. People within that media realm cannot identify or have nowhere to allocate those certain assets in their media schedule. Also, when you send it down the pipeline, once it's actually being edited and put together, again, there's multiple outputs. Usually, you could have everything from 30s to 15s to 10s to 6s to 3s. My goodness, there's so many different aspect ratios as well. So you need to have specific key numbers for each of these deliverables. It doesn't hurt to ask for them at the first stage, but also know that they're not 100% crucial at the beginning of your briefing, but at some stage you do need to get all the key numbers specific when you're in the post-production stage. Budget is most of the time given. Usually you would have a budget for the jobs that you do. Now, once you start to get it right up to the top end, some of the time budgets are not mandated or not given. But let's talk about on the whole, most of the time you are given a budget. Put the budget in there or give a realm of what the budget is or give a guide to what the budget is. People do need to have some sort of number in there most of the time. If you just leave it blank and you're briefing out to 3 different parties, you could come back with so many different options. I think most of the time, anybody who's working in production is given a budget, knows what the budget is, pass on that budget. It's best practice. It makes things so much quicker. Now, A quick word from Advertising Production Academy, a new platform designed to help producers, marketers, and creatives understand how advertising really gets made. From free downloadable templates and rate cards to a 6-week foundational course built around real campaign workflows, the Academy brings together practical training with real-world tools. Visit adproacademy.com.au. That's adproacademy.com.au to explore what's available and access resources built for the industry. Thank you. Then you need to have the delivery date, final delivery. Final delivery is the best way for all parties to work backwards from. If you know when something is due, when you need to have all the different deliverables ready, then you can work back from there for your post-production, then you work back through your production. It just makes it easier. Usage terms. Put in there the usage. What are the territories it's going into? Is it Australia only? Is it state-based only? How long is it going to be used for? This again helps when you get into negotiations with contracts, talent contracts, music licensing. You need to have a duration or the usage for what these deliverables are going to be. Put on there who the creatives are, who actually came up with these ideas. Put their names on there. Makes it a lot easier for everyone to ask questions and know who they're talking with. Then you need to have you need to have a concept or a script. You need to have an idea. If it's an unfinished script or an unfinished concept or an idea, you're just creating more work for yourself because you're going to have to rebrief once it is completed, and then that's going to affect the other parties having to reconfigure the way they're going to do it, the timings, the budget that's involved, the way they carve up that budget. It just causes a hassle for everybody. Other elements you could add, you could have a visual or a mood board. You could have tonal examples. You could have references from competitors. Anything that's going to help that conversation or those creative ideas get sparked or give people reference to what you're going for. You can also pass on the objectives of the campaign. That becomes more of a strategic element or a reason why. Why have we come up with this creative idea? What's its purpose? What's it going to do out in the market? And also you can go with the target audience. Who's the market? Who are the people you're talking to? There was another element. Back in the briefing document, you can actually put in what the mandatories are. So it's going to be your end frame lockups, if there needs to be any sort of disclaimers, logos, call to actions. If it's known at that stage, put that in as well. Another part, you may also have logistic constraints. You may already have locations that have been locked in that you need to use. You may have particular talent that you need to use. You may have particular brand music that needs to be put into the campaign. Whatever it is, if there's mandatories, include them as well. Now you've got all the bits and pieces together. You're going to actually start briefing people in. Really, really clear from the start. Make sure that whoever came up with the idea is talking to whoever is putting the idea together. So the director, the DOP, whoever's doing that, make sure those parties come together and they actually talk face to face. Now, it doesn't have to be an in-person meeting. Pretty much these days, it'll be done over a Zoom or a Google Meet or Skype, whatever. Make sure that people get together and start to have that open dialogue. Also, when these people are brought together, they can start asking questions of one another, particularly whoever's being briefed. There's going to be a myriad of questions. Remember, they have never seen this before. They haven't been a part of the process. They are looking at it for the first time. Before they go away on their own or with their team, they want to get as much information as possible. So important to have the parties come together and start talking. The other thing is, depends on where you're sitting, what company you're in, the formalities that are required. Me personally, I like to allow the two creative parties to just have open dialogue between one another and then include myself in on the comms. I think in this day and age, speed is key. It is so crucial to decisions. If it's being funneled from one party through yourself and then having to go through to another, it kind of slows down time because everyone's so busy. When can they get that information? How long does it take? What's the delays? I like it when the two parties can just talk to one another however they like through email or through phone conversations. The other thing is you need to inform the people of how long they've got to come up with their treatment, come up with their creative execution. You need to give them a clear timing for when they need to have a treatment. They need to have a budget breakdown. They need to have their timelines. You will need to set a firm time for them. Sometimes it's a couple of days, sometimes it's a week. If you're really lucky, it can be, a couple of weeks, but it's going to be fast. So be clear with them when you need it by. Another thing I recommend is that when you are having the meetings or the briefings over the internet, when you're having the briefings over whatever it is, Zoom, Skype, Meet, the functions these days, you're able to record and transcribe. It's such a valuable tool, and it allows people to know and go back and look at the conversations had, and they can find the bits of information that they may have missed, and they can go over it again and again and again. So record if you can. So there you go. Hopefully that has given you insight and some handy and valuable information about the briefing process. And let's recap. You want to make sure that you have all the correct signed off information in one document, a simple document that you can hand over. You want to ensure that you have a completed, signed off and approved script or concept that you are handing over as well. Ensure that you have supporting creative elements that go along with the briefing document and the concept or the script. So we're talking examples of competitors' work. We're talking about styles or moods or tones. Make sure that you have target markets. Make sure you have any logistics constraints handy to know. Talent, locations, timings, anything of the sorts. Ensure that there are clear lines of communication between the parties. Set clear timings for when you need anything back. Whether it's a couple of days, a week, a couple of weeks, let people know the date and time when you need everything back by. If you can, make sure that you have a way of being able to record the meeting. Make sure that there's time in the briefing for question and answers between the two parties. Again, really handy to have. Allows the briefed party to talk openly and ask as many questions as possible of the party who've come up with the idea. So there you have it. Briefing really sets the tone for the whole project. You're bringing two parties together. You want to ensure that it's as smooth and as comprehensive of information download as possible. Well, that's it for today. I'll make the logo bigger. Thanks for hanging out with us. We've shared some insights and stories that I hope you found useful. Whether you're just getting started or diving deeper into ad production, there's always more to explore. Keep listening, stay curious, and we'll be back soon with some more from the world of production. Take care until then.